But okay, now we have a profession as a game designer. So basically, it brings us to something. But in the beginning, it sometimes we make games and it produce nothing. And like some people around us perhaps things that just waste of time. And then in many family also look at game just like waste of time. I mean, it's better to learn something than play game or even learning about games. So what you think about that?
So in fact, I think you can learn really a lot by playing games. Because it's quite a good, I mean, you can learn directly because you could have games which have tell you something about the history of Indonesia, or they could tell you something about a time that you did not know about, or you can even learn geography because many people know where Kamchatka is because they know that it is a little area and risk, and otherwise they would never have known. But you also learn a certain amount of social skills because in good games you have to anticipate what other people are going to do, how they're going to react. And so, for instance, I mean, I own quite an okay business, quite a sizable business. It is very useful to be able in negotiations to understand how people are going to react. If you play negotiation games, you will learn how to do negotiation. If you play games in which you need to do cooperate and work together, you will learn a lot about how to do cooperation well in such a way that you both benefit. So these type of mechanics can really help to build an understanding of how to work and how to interact with other people.
I see.
In fact, I made for a long time also games for training purposes, and I would fly all over the world to teach people. It was a very simple game in which you have to make paper airplanes, like origami, and it is collaborative, so you have to work together, and you have to get better and better at making these airplanes. And in the beginning, you can just do better by everyone teaches themselves how to do better, but at some point you have to work together to really do that very well. And I did this with people all over the world to make this and then learn and teach people why is it important to work together. Maybe one person is a minister and the other person is a person just working in the department. But if they understand each other's point of view, they will be much more effective in working together. And so you can see this if you are in a small because a game is a very safe environment, so you can, inside this game, you can try out what happens, and all of a sudden you find out that, hey, if we discuss this, or if I understand what you're working on, or if I understand what would be the detailed questions here, the outcome will be much better. And so these kind of learnings, I think, can really come through games.
Wow, I think I'm totally 100% agree with that. So we have a lot of opportunity, we have a lot of potential in using game as very important medium for everything. Okay, I believe I already motivate you since 2014 to try some of Indonesia board games, and somehow it's become our culture just to meet and play.
Yeah.
So far it's like almost 3 times at least we met and play some Indonesian games. We would like to know your opinion also about Indonesian board games.
Yeah, so I think the Indonesian board games are, of course, I like when they are about Indonesia because I like Indonesia. So I like that it is a different theme because you have like 500 board games which are about medieval history in Germany, and it's very interesting. But maybe for 100 games it's enough.
You don't need more.
So I like that there is Indonesian themes.
Thank you.
I also think that, especially in the smaller games, that I've played a lot of the smaller Indonesian games. I think Indonesian designers have a different way of looking at things. They combine obviously some mechanics which are, sometimes there are some certain mechanics which are taken from like the World Library of Mechanics that you can kind of use. But the combination of what to do with it is quite often very unique. And I think there might be a common theme in that there is quite a lot of player interaction which is done in a often different way than I would say American or German or French games do. And I think there is a lot of potential for that because it's often, if you look at board games as a global market, it's often very important to be different or special because there are so many games already that if you are too much like everyone else, then you will just drown. But if you have a unique voice, then that is something people will be looking for and will be interested in.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. That's a big compliment come from you. Okay, one last question is that I believe that I know that you have a lot of activities and your activities also involved with interaction with different people from different backgrounds. Could you please, just share a little thought to, most parents or family and professional there in Indonesia, what you think about game industry and also for the designer in Indonesia, what they need to do for the coming future. There's some encouragement for some people. It's yours.
Well, I think if you're an Indonesian designer and you want to make games, I think what is important is to be, as I said, to be unique, to use your strengths, not to copy what everyone else does, but still look at what everyone else does and then make something that is better. I mean, there could be a game called Indonesia
Part 2.
Part 2, which is much better than the Indonesia I made.
Should be 3 times better.
I think
and it's cheaper.
And cheaper is certainly possible, yes. I think if you want to be successful as a game designer, you have to do it a lot. So an important thing in making games, so the first games we made, we went here to Essen 23 years ago for the first time, and we would be at this trade fair with tens of thousands of people, and we would sell only very few games. So it takes time until you yourself understand really what is a good design and you find your voice. And it also takes time for people to recognize this. So if at first you don't succeed, I would say don't give up, but try again, get better, try again, get better, because that's the way that actually really good games are made.
Wow, perfect. I think that's it. Thank you for coming to Indonesia again.
Yes.
Thank you.